Sleep story. Let your breath soften. Let your body sink deeply into your bed. Let the day fall behind you. There's nowhere you need to be. No expectations. Just this moment. A moment meant for calm, for stillness, for warmth. Tonight, I'll take you on a peaceful journey through one long, perfect summer day. A day that unfolds slowly, like a flower blooming in warm sunlight. A day filled with light, laughter, the scent of wildflowers, and the sweet touch of connection. Close your eyes. Feel the imaginary sun on your skin. Let your heart open to this gentle story. The story of Julian and Celeste. Julian hopped off the bike and turned back to help Celeste down. She was smiling, her cheeks flushed, not from exertion, but from joy. The ride through the sleepy coastal town had been pure freedom. Warm wind brushing over their arms, the sound of gulls overhead, the sparkling sea glinting like glass beside them. Julian hadn't eaten yet, and Celeste, ever observant, noticed. She tugged him gently by the hand and led him into a small cafe perched right on the cliffs. It was like stepping into a dream. The cafe was all soft corners and sea-washed wood. Tiny iron tables spilled onto a back terrace, vines crawling up the railings, and paperbacks filled every shelf inside. The air smelled of warm pastries, of coffee pressed slowly by hand, and something unexpected. Strawberries. Fresh ones. Celeste spoke with the cafe owner like an old friend. The man, with kind eyes and a laugh that rang like wind chimes, handed Julian a wicker basket. For your first breakfast on the cliffs, he said. This one's on the house. Out back, they stepped into a secret garden. It looked like a hidden painting, lush with green, dotted with flowers, sunlight streaming in golden beams. There were pastries filled with strawberry puree, dusted with powdered sugar. There was sliced mango, bright pineapple, delicate star fruit, all arranged like jewels in a bowl. And there was one final surprise. A blush pink scoop of ice cream, melting slightly in a sundae glass. It tasted like summer itself. Celeste insisted they eat it first. They sat beneath the boughs of a strawberry bush as bees buzzed lazily nearby and shared bites of the creamiest ice cream Julian had ever tasted. And for a while, time melted with it. With the breakfast gone and their spirits light, Celeste pulled Julian gently from the table. Come, she said, and led him away, not toward the busy beach, but to the rough-hewn edges of the island. They walked across rocky cliffs, the sound of the sea crashing below. Julian was puzzled, but then they crested a slope and found it. A secret cove. Hidden between two stone arms of the island, the beach below was quiet, untouched, waiting. They climbed down carefully and wandered barefoot along the sand. Celeste dipped her toes in the tide and grinned over her shoulder. Julian's chest tightened. He felt something stirring inside him, soft and true. They explored tidal pools, finding starfish, little darting fish, and clever crabs hiding in the seaweed. Each discovery made Celeste's eyes light up, and Julian found he was watching her more than the creatures. Eventually, the sun climbed higher, and their pace slowed. The sea whispered softly beside them, and even the wind seemed to hush. Back on the bike, Celeste pedaled them to the island's quieter side. The road wound past creeks and pastures. The air was thick with the scent of honeysuckle and sweetgrass. And then there it was. A hill bursting with wildflowers, a full spectrum of color painting the slope. They walked hand in hand into the meadow. Petals brushed their legs. The earth was soft and warm. Celeste laid out a blanket in the center. They collapsed onto it with sighs of delight. "This is the rhythm of summer," Celeste whispered. "First you feel it in your skin, then in your bones, and finally in your heart." Julian nodded, unable to speak. His eyes were growing heavy. Celeste laid her head on his chest, and he wrapped an arm around her. Their breaths began to sink, and slowly they drifted. The wind played with the flowers around them. The sun kissed their skin. Julian didn't dream exactly, but he floated. He felt the weight of the world lift from him. And when he woke, Celeste was still resting against him. The sky had begun to change. Light orange melted into gold. He stroked her back gently, brushing her hair aside. The air was perfumed with lavender and sun-warmed earth. When she stirred at last, she smiled up at him, eyes still half closed. Neither of them spoke. There was no need, Dot. They packed up slowly and began walking back. The light changed with every step, shifting from golden to peach to blush pink and lilac. They said little. The silence between them was not empty, it was full. When they reached Celeste's home, she turned to him and said, "One last thing before the night ends." In the center of her backyard was a stone circle, lined with logs and soft blankets. Julian helped her light the fire. It crackled to life as the last pinks vanished from the sky and stars blinked awake above them. They sat wrapped in a shared blanket. The warmth of the flames, the scent of smoke and sea air, it wrapped around them like magic. Julian looked at her, the fire reflecting in her eyes. He rose quietly, excused himself, and returned with a canvas and paints. "Stay just like that," he whispered. She smiled, cheeks coloring. Julian painted without thought, just feeling. The brush danced like the flames. The sounds around them, the waves, the wind, the crickets, all sang in harmony. When he finished, he held it up. Celeste's eyes welled with tears. She stood, crossed to him, and hugged him tightly. They didn't let go for a long time. Julian kissed her forehead gently, reverently. They stood beneath the stars, fingers interlaced dot. It was only the beginning of summer, and before them lay days and weeks of warmth, adventure, and love. They didn't speak of the future. They didn't need to. They simply stayed still. As the stars shimmered above, the fire crackled beside them, and the night wrapped around them like a lullaby. Sleep now. Let your breath deepen and your heart rest. Tomorrow, more stories await. But tonight, let this one carry you into the sweetest of dreams. Good night. Sweet dreams.